Hello, everybody, and welcome into my latest live broadcast. Today it is Tuesday, the 22nd of November, 2022. And joining me today, the founder and the owner of the remote support software Instant Housecall, Carey Fruitman, joins us all the way from Canada. And if I push all the right buttons, he should magically appear. Hello, Carey.
Hey, Carey, how you doing?
Hey, we're off to a good start. I haven't done one of these StreamYard interviews in quite a long time. And I was looking back at our history, and you came out to Phoenix and we did an in-person interview. Can you believe that was in 2018?
Holy geez, that's nuts. Can't believe
How
it's been
has
so long.
that 4 years? Like we'd be through high school right now.
COVID has messed up everybody's sense of time, I think. And yeah, it's been way too long.
Well, I'm glad that to have you back and to see you again. And I'm super excited to see a major update to Instant Housecall. So I guess for our audience, let's talk a little bit about what Instant Housecall is and what was your impetus for creating it?
I mean, so Instant Housecall is remote support software. So it lets you view and control anyone's computer through firewalls very simply, very easily. Um, I guess the impetus for creating it this was years ago, talking from a long time ago. I worked at a college here in Toronto, and I worked in deaf and hard of hearing services. And one of the deaf people I was working with said that he wanted to start his own computer repair business. And so I put together a small program that did remote and chat. And yeah, the rest of they say is history. I just sort of thought it was a cool idea and decided to keep on pushing forward, and it became the product that you're going to see today.
Well, I am just looking over on our YouTube feed, and I am not seeing my own broadcast. Let me just verify. Oh, there it is. There it is. I got it. Like I said, I've been a little out of practice with this, and I was concerned I didn't want to take this too far if we weren't going out. So it does look like we're on there. So hello to everybody in our chat room. Thanks, you guys, for joining us today. We will be entertaining your questions throughout the interview. However, you might have to ask your question a few times before we see it, because we're going to cover a lot of material tonight. So I want to talk about how Instant Housecall is different from other remote software and how it's really aligned specifically for people doing computer repairs. And well, it could be used for other reasons. That's its main purpose for existence. And it offers features and benefits that are unique to the needs of people offering remote repair. In my business, whether or without COVID, the amount of remote repair I've been doing has steadily been going up and up and up. So I'm up around 90% of the work I do for my clients, my business clients, is all done remotely now, and I very rarely have to show up on site. What the pandemic has done for me is it's given them an understanding of remote work. It used to have a battle with, we never see you, so you must not do anything. And this was a particular issue with older business owners who are a bit old school and want to see you. If I don't see you here, why am I paying you? So COVID has helped in people understanding remote work. With this latest version, just to give people an idea, the previous version, version 6, how long was version 6 out before we just now got to version 7?
It's a good question. I think version 6 was out for about 4 years.
4 years. So these updates don't happen often.
An update like this one doesn't happen often. This was a very large update. So we do keep the software up to date. We're constantly trying to make improvements, trying to make it better. But an update this big does not happen often, though.
Yeah, you'll be like 7.1 or 7.8, but to get an actual big version number, you're not like other software companies that will come out with a new version and get people to be convinced to purchase it again just for the sake that it's on a schedule, rather than it has a purpose.
Right. Now, I think you're diplomatically referring to one of my competitors. But yeah, there are some people who will just put out versions to make things obsolete. We don't work that way. Everything's always backwards compatible and forwards compatible. So you're never forced to upgrade. But if there is an upgrade, it's free. It's included in your package.
I know I've been barely scratching the surface of what the Instant Housecall software can do in this new version, and I'm excited for my own benefit to learn some of the features that I'm sure I'll be using once I know they're there. I pretty much, once I'm connected, I do everything manually. So there's probably some automation in there. And what I've done is I've set up this little computer right here. And what I thought we could do is we can show both sides of what it's like to, say, request support and then to give the support. And we could either flip the screen here on OBS, or I can run them side by side like we're doing now to give people an idea of how this all works. What do you think?
Sure, that sounds great.
You ready to get started?
I am. Just so people know, we have not had a ton of chance to prepare, so we're flying by the seat of our pants here.
Yeah, but you know what? But this is how it works in real life, right? The customer calls.
It's true. It's true.
This is every day for me, so I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah. So open up your browser.
All right, I'll tell you what,
is that computer on?
I'm going to switch over to this computer.
Okay.
Which this should work. It says no signal. Hold on. I think it went to sleep. Did it go to sleep? What were we saying about trying things out before we went live? Hold on. Let me make sure it's turned on. Maybe I didn't turn it on. I can't remember now. Yeah, it probably helps if I turn it on. All right. I think that's the first rule of support is it on? All right. If I switch over now, it's booting. You should see that on.
I do see the logo and I see the login screen now.
Right on. Okay. Whew. All right. Direct me. I need help. What do I do?
You need help.
Okay. So open up a browser, any browser you want.
All right. I got to go full screen on my side. The screen's too tiny. Okay. I'm going to go to Microsoft Edge here.
And go to the address bar. Now, if you have an older client or someone who doesn't know the difference between the search and the address bar, just tell them to press Control L, and that'll take them to the address bar.
Boy, I could have used that information yesterday.
And then go to demo, DEMO.
.instanthousecall.com.
Okay.
Okay, and just click download.
And you know what else I can do? Let me see what this looks like. I'm going to go full screen here for our viewers at home so they can see it a bit clearly, and we should still be able to hear you.
Yeah, you can. I'm right here.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, go ahead and click download.
You'll see that little blue box pointing
To where you're supposed to click. So that's it's downloading the software now.
Just go ahead and click on the software once it finishes downloading to run it.
I like this little blue flag here. That's a great idea. Having customers click the button to download, and they often tell me they don't see anything. So
this is especially useful for older customers or customers who aren't so tech savvy. So there's that little flag to tell them where they're
supposed to click and what they're supposed to do. And it works differently on different browsers. So, for example, I use Brave on my end, and the download pops up in the bottom left. So it's a little bit different. But that flag will point to the appropriate place depending on the browser.
Nice. That's a nice touch. All right, so we're going to click on that. Do I want to allow it? Yes.
It'll do its thing and then brings up a screen, and all you have to do is click start session. So there's no keys, no codes, no pins. It'll automatically point to me, and you can see I've got some really gaudy branding, so that green button's actually configurable. I was just testing the branding there, and you can see it says test in the little bubble. Go ahead and click start session, and we'll be connected. Oh, and click I agree to that terms and conditions.
Okay.
Okay. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and conditions. And click I agree to that terms and
And then on my end, what I'm going to see is a little
Pop-up window that says accept or decline. So I'm just going to click accept, and I'm connected to your computer. So there was nothing
Just like
to it.
that.
Just like that.
Okay, now will the software stay installed when we're done?
It's actually an option. So let me switch my screen over so you can see what I've got on my side. How does that work? Does that work for you?
Yes. Let me set the screen this way, and then we can see your screen.
Okay.
When you share it, I can add it.
All right. Are you seeing my screen?
And let me turn off this one. Wait a minute. I'm turning off the right one. I'm so confused. Bear with me for just a second. I need to figure this out. All right. We want that screen, and we want, not
one of the two you're looking at, the other one.
I am trying to figure out what if I get rid of this one and then do this. No, it's not letting me do that. Okay. It's been a while since I've used this, and I'm sure it's something very simple. If we go full screen on your side.
There we go. Now we got it.
Okay. So now we're going to see you're looking from, so you're in Toronto. You're looking at this little computer on my desk. I guess I don't need them side by side because effectively we're seeing them both right now on one screen. And that's a bigger image.
Exactly. We're seeing the exact same screen, and you can see all
the features up here. They'll let you choose what you want to do. Now, a couple of things I want to point out here. This desktop icon that you have on your desktop is brandable, so you can change that icon. You can change all of the different graphics within the program. So on that start session screen, you saw I had a big green button. That green button can be changed to your accent color. So I can't remember what colors your logo are, but if you want to change it to your logo colors, you can. And you can add your logo to the software as well. So everything in the software is brandable, so it looks like it's your product. Even the little system tray icon down here is also brandable. So everything can be make it look like your own.
Nice. Okay. So, so the customer never is flooded with, let's say, promotion or branding or advertising from Instant Housecall. It all appears to be
exactly
just all me.
Exactly. And one of the cool new features in this version is that you can resize the window to whatever size you want.
So I always just go full screen because
it's
never big enough. What happens if the end user has 2 monitors or 3 monitors?
It's a great question, and I wish you had 2 monitors so I could demo it, but I'll describe what happens. Is it'll open up a separate window for each monitor. So you can have all the different monitors, and again, you can resize them to whatever you want. And so they would appear side by side. So you would see another monitor pop up here.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once we're connected, let's go through some of the tools and utilities, the features, particularly what's new in version 7.
Sure. So I mean, some of the features are things that you would expect. So I just created a new bitmap, for example. And if you just go to show more options, you will see, if I can find it, there it is, Instant Housecall, and I can transfer the file to myself. So I can copy files very simply, very easily. You can see receiving files. I'll just drop it into my downloads folder. And there we go. I've copied your file.
What about the other way?
Yeah, I can do it the other way too, with either drag and drop or with the right-click context menu as well.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So file transfer, we can chat, obviously. We can chat back and forth. So you can see the windows there for chatting. We can record the session video, save screenshots, notes, profile, and history. So if I wanted to remember a little bit about our conversation here, I could make notes on both you and on the session itself. So I could say, virus removal, and I took out the ZZZZZZ virus.
Okay.
Easy. Pardon me. And then when I go back any time to the same customer, I can click on history, and I can take a look at all the different things that I've done for that person. So you can see that I've done a virus removal, and I took out that virus. That's also going to show up in reports that we'll show you in the administrator control panel a little bit later. And all of the details are reviewable at a later date. So saved by customer and by computer.
I can also send Control-Delete to your computer. So if I wanted
to, it looks like you've got the lock screen disabled on this computer, but I'd be able to lock the computer, unlock the computer, do whatever I need to do. You can reboot the computer in 3 different ways: standard mode, safe mode, or force an emergency reboot. So an emergency reboot is for things like if you're really having trouble with the customer's computer, and it's typically when it's infested with a virus of some kind, you can force an emergency reboot. Pasting clipboard to login screen. If you use a password manager, that becomes quite handy. And this is one that you actually asked me about before the show. So I'll show you how this works. So request unattended access. If I'm interested in controlling your computer, I can request unattended access. And it appears
that did not work as I expected it to.
Well, I'm watching you full screen, so I'm not looking if the request came through on my side that I have to approve.
I see.
Because I'm riveted to what you're doing, and so I've got I'm looking at you full screen so I can see it.
Gotcha.
Which means I can't see the chat room and I can't see my own screen right now. So I'm imagining something must have popped up. Some box popped up.
It popped up a little dialogue asking if you'd accept unattended access.
I spent about what felt like an eternity trying to get somebody to download the remote access software. And once we got it, I wanted to immediately turn on unattended access so we wouldn't have to go through it again. It was very difficult.
So what I'll do is I'll show you how they can allow unattended access from their side after we disconnect, and that'll be the customer-driven unattended access. And then what we're looking at here is a conference call. So for people who have more than one technician, or what we call a specialist, you can add multiple specialists and you can invite them into the call. So you can have more than one person handling a single call at a given time. Now, in our case, we only have one specialist here. But we would be able to invite multiple people to remotely control this computer at the same time and collaborate, or you can transfer calls from one person to the next.
How does the mouse control work if you've got more than, I mean, just me talking to the customer yesterday, I had to ask them repeatedly to stop moving their mouse because it kept interfering with what I was trying to do, and they kept forgetting. Now, if I had another tech on with me and we were both remoted into this customer's machine, who's got control of the mouse?
That's a great question. So you would actually both have control of the mouse at the same time, and you'd have to coordinate it between the two of you.
That's going to be a tug of war.
It certainly would.
Okay.
What I need you to do is, if you can,
Yes.
just go back to side by side, and just if you can click right down here and go to the Instant Housecall icon and allow remote control for me.
Okay, let me go full screen to this other computer so I can see it. You want me to go down here, go to the...
Right click the system tray icon.
Oh, why am I not... Instant Housecall.
Did it just say unattended access active?
Yes.
Okay. I think we're getting a bit of a conflict between StreamYard and Instant Housecall right now.
If you request that unattended access now, will I see it now since I'm looking at my screen?
What you should do is just right click on the system tray icon, and you should see something that says enable remote control or allow remote control, something along those lines.
Yes, enable remote control.
Perfect.
So just there was the right mouse button. Okay.
Okay, and I think we're having a bit of a conflict with StreamYard right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect from you.
Okay.
I'm going to have you. There we go.
And I'm just going to have. I just uninstalled the software, so you saw it disappear from your computer.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
I can force an uninstall, or I can leave it installed on your computer, and just go back to that download that we did and double click on that.
Okay.
Perfect. And now I'm going to show you how to do the unattended access. So along the top, you see Specialist, Contact, and Unattended. Do you see those tabs? Click on the unattended once the spinner stops spinning, and just grant me unattended access.
Just like that?
Yeah, and then close it down.
Okay.
Then on my side,
Hold on. Let me switch over to we go back and forth here so we can see. It's really cool to be able to see both sides. So I'm enjoying the heck out of this, by the way. The technical side of it's just fun. Let's see. What do I have to do here? We go here. Okay. Now we're on your side.
we are on my side. And
then that's just a big list. It's like a phone book, I guess, of all of your.
It is. You know, can I ask you to stop? Hang on 1 second. Can I ask you to stop streaming for 1 quick sec?
I can remove you if that's or is it something that you want to talk to me offline about? Oh, now I removed you. You can't answer me. Hold on. Let me bring you back in.
All right, here we go. I found you. So on my side, what I've done is I've requested unattended access from your computer, and you can see that I'm able to initiate the remote call now.
Right. Yeah. So again, I was about ready to pull my hair out trying to get this customer to just follow, explaining to them I don't want them typing in the search bar. They don't know what a browser is. I'm asking them to look for the 3 dots. And I don't have that. So once I logged in and I said, there's the 3 dots right there. I thought you said green dots. No, I said 1, 2, 3. I was just deep breath, Carey, deep breath. And I wanted to turn on unattended access. So anytime that customer reached out to me in the future, we wouldn't go through this. It's not their fault. That's the whole reason I have a career, is because that's what they're calling me for. They don't know. But sometimes just getting that connection established, boy, I'll tell you what I wouldn't give to be able to just drive over there and set it up. So being able to turn that unattended on, so for future calls, I can get past that, because the actual thing they needed took like 1/4 of the time it took me to describe to them what a browser was, how to go to the website, and then to click the file. And it's nothing unique or different about Instant Housecall. In fact, Instant Housecall is quite a lot easier than others, far less complicated. I don't have to have the customer read me a code and a password, or, do I read the one on the left or do I read the one on the right? So being able to get that out of the way for customers that are repeat customers is a lifesaver, I have to tell you. All right, what do we got going on over here?
All right, so this is the administrator control panel. And what I'm going to show you first is inside of the analytics, just to take a look at some of the stuff that we've already done. Here's a section that we're in right now, and here is the session that we did previously, where I said I took out the ZZZ virus, and it was tagged as virus removal. So we have these very, very elaborate reports that we can do. Based on name or company, or search the notes, search the private notes, check out the request, description, specialist, date ranges, number of minutes, the amount of revenue you generated. And you can pull all of that stuff straight from these reports. So you can get all of the details that you want straight from these reports. And you can obviously export it to pretty much any format that you might want.
So now this is the business side of things.
This is the business side of things. This is the administration side.
That makes sense?
Absolutely. This is way more organized than I run my business. You know what? If you have multiple employees or you have multiple customers and you can't keep it straight, I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you another example. I'm full of examples today. Customer has an old network attached storage device I set up for them. And customer doesn't know the login name or password. And I would normally store that. But for whatever reason, I didn't. I would just create a little notepad text file and save it on my documents folder under a folder of the client's name. Pretty simple, relatively insecure, but you know, it's really nothing critical, and it doesn't. Anyway, besides that, customer doesn't know it. I don't know it, and I can't find where any documentation of. I must have written it down somewhere, but now I don't know where. So having something like this, customers maybe only call me once every 12 or 18 months if they're home users, and things like their Wi-Fi passwords, their SSIDs, their router logins, NAS logins, even their desktop logins, I often have to store for my customers because they don't know what they are. Sometimes they even call me and ask me specifically, can you tell me what my Wi-Fi password is? I've got somebody coming over, someone's visiting and they want to use my Wi-Fi.
So
It'd be nice to be able to just have it all in one place like this. So rather than me coming up with my own system in which I didn't follow through on and obviously dropped the ball, putting information in as Instant Housecall offers it gives me one repository for all of my customers for any data about them I want to store. So even being self-employed, I can see how that's useful. I mean, you're demonstrating a history. Like you could say, here's what I did. Now that's great when it comes to either auditing or different technicians get assigned different tickets and they want to see what happened previously. But for me personally, I'm the only guy that's doing the work. Just the idea of being able to store information about the customer's unique system setup and to have it the same for all customers.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are actually two types of notes in Instant Housecall. So there are private notes and public notes. The public notes, let me just go back to the report really quickly and show you the difference. So the public notes are notes that your customer can actually see. So at the end of a session, I'm not sure if are we looking at my screen or your screen right now? I think we're looking at your screen.
You're looking at my screen.
Okay. So if you flip it back to my screen real quick.
You have to share your screen.
I'm not sharing my screen anymore. Fair enough. Hang on one sec. I'm getting all confused as to which screen is which now.
I know it's you do this a few times, you get used to it, but even I'm getting confused on it. All right, now I should be able to add that and put it in there. Now that's your screen.
That's my screen. So if you go to the notes profile and history, again, there's session notes, which are public notes. So anything I type here is public. And if I save that, that's visible to your customers. Then if you have private notes that you want to say travel with the customer, so you can say Wi-Fi password is ABCDEFG. I'll just save that. We'll come back in. We'll take a look at those notes again. So you can see that note that I typed that was public appears up here. And then that private note with the Wi-Fi password appears here under the customer tab. So this is where you would store Wi-Fi passwords, SSIDs, anything that you wanted to travel with the customer. Anything you want to appear in the session history and have your customers see would appear here. And you can see that anything I type here is public and unattended access is there. Whereas here, everything here is private. You can help with the eyeball with the slash through it. It means that it's private. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that'd be a great place also for writing down birthdays, if you know, or spouse names and say, hey, how's Linda doing?
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So hopefully that all makes sense.
Absolutely.
And then, I'll take you through the administrator control panel. What we're going to do is we're going to do some branding. I'm just going to pull up one of this is actually my second customer ever from a million years ago. And we're going to use his, we're going to use his logo. If I could type. There we go. We're going to use his logo to brand the software. So we'll save the image, and we'll save that in. We'll put it on the desktop just to make it nice and easy to find. And then let's Google for free icons.
Oh, to make your own icon for I gotcha.
Mm-hmm. And so we'll use which icon do you fancy? The tennis ball, the truck?
I like the second one on the top row. It looks
This
like
guy here.
some tools or something.
Okay.
Oh, it's a guitar. Or we're going to pretend
These
it's
are
a wrench and a screwdriver.
SVGs. We need to grab an ICO file. So let me just go back. Freeicons.ico. .ico. There we go.
Now we're just using these free ones as a demonstration. You could easily make your own.
Absolutely. And so we'll go with a nice Canadian one right here. And we will download the ICO for it.
There we go. And we'll go back to the administrator control panel.
And what we'll do is we'll upload the logo that we just downloaded. And let's pick an accent color. So we picked a nice Canadian maple leaf for the icon. We'll change the accent color to red.
All right.
And we'll upload that ICO file. There we go.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
And we'll say Happy Canada Day.
Now, where are you doing this at? Where are these options?
These options are in the Instant Housecall Administrator control panel. So if we want to follow through, we would go to the system tray icon for Instant Housecall, and then we would go to Administrator control panel, and that takes us to the page.
Okay.
And if you're remote, if you're not in the same region as me, so I'm in America East, but you actually would be in America West, or Europe or Australia, you can pick the servers that are closest to you to get the best response times.
Wow. Okay.
And then if I remember correctly, I had some terms and conditions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete those.
That will save.
And then if I wanted to, I could upload a headshot. So let's just get someone's headshot.
Just for fun, we'll use this woman right here.
Okay. And this is something this is like initial setup, right? I mean, once this is done.
Exactly. This is initial setup. And then we'll come back here.
And you don't have to set this up. You could leave it all blank, I suppose, if you weren't
you certainly can.
wanting to brand it for some reason.
Sorry, let me.
If you're not into branding, some people just don't like their don't like having their images out there. Some people just put an icon in there instead.
Sure.
It depends on the person. Different people have different tastes.
But this is an example of how Instant Housecall is designed as a remote repair tool versus other remote software where these aren't even options.
Right.
They're not designed to be used this way.
Right. Exactly. All right. So we'll save this gentleman's. It's a PNG file. And we will upload that here. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect from your computer. So you go File, Exit Session. I'm going to show you actually very quickly some of the different features that you have on disconnect. You can remove the customer software, which I demoed earlier. I can force your browser to open to a URL. So a lot of people will send people to Google or Yelp to get a review. I can add session notes, and I can send, remember those public notes I was telling you about? I can send session confirmations by browser or by email. In this case, I'm not going to do any of those. I'm just going to end the session. There we go.
Now that's your desktop.
That's my desktop.
I'm going to close mine off, and I'll let you go back to yours. And now just run the Instant Housecall software one more time, and you'll see all the branding that we took care of.
So now this is what I'm seeing on my side here.
Yep. So just go back to the desktop.
Bear with me just a second. I'm flipping between multiple screens here to do this. Okay.
It's very confusing. I've got 3 monitors. You've got video stream going. We've got remote sessions going. There's a lot going on in this call.
All right. And you want me to just close all the windows out we've got open?
Just minimize it. It's fine.
Just minimize it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then see the get remote support.
So see the Get Remote Support icon? Double click on that.
I see what you did there. So there's the company's logo. And then, oh, and then the desktop icon just changed. Okay, I knew there was a third thing. There it is.
It did. And the system tray icon changed as well.
And then that's going to be the default for anybody that you are instructing to download the remote software. This is what it's going to look like for them once you've set this up.
Universally. You can even change the icon text from Get Remote Support to your company name if you want to.
Okay, so now the question that I'm asking myself is, okay, when we compare this to other remote software, the question is, okay, so that means you must be hosting your own custom installer. But the fact is, Instant Housecall is hosting each specialist, well, not each specialist, but each company's custom installer. So you would go to companyname.instanthousecall.com.
You can do it at companyname.instanthousecall.com, or we actually give you embeddable links that you can put onto
your website. So people download directly from your website. So that they
can say, click here for help, and then that'll.
Exactly.
Or you do what I did and just register your own domain and just forward it.
Yeah. Some people would register, carey123.com, and then it would just, it would forward straight to it.
It's a little bit less.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you saw how responsive that was, folks watching at home. You see when he's clicking on things on my desktop, how quickly all that was happening. I didn't even realize when you were setting all that up, I thought we were looking at your desktop. But we were looking at your desktop, looking at my desktop, and I didn't realize that till I saw all the browser tabs and all the downloads on the desktop, and I went, "Oh, I guess that makes sense. You did it on this machine right here."
I did.
Machine over there.
Exactly. I know. It's very confusing.
This is like a metaverse thing. Something's. So if you can follow along with it, these are things that, and I'm glad you're bringing these things up right out of the gate, because they are the differentiators between this and just generic remote access software. And not all remote access software is intended for one-time connection. Some of it, once you install it, it stays installed, and that could be a potential issue or liability, even if you're just helping a friend, right? And with Instant Housecall, the price differential is also a major thing. I want to talk about that. Some remote access programs, they like to have these evergreen contracts. They outrageously, in my opinion, overcharge for something that should be getting cheaper and not more expensive, which I don't understand why that keeps getting more expensive. And some applications, some remote access applications, are intended for one user. So when I was looking around at remote access alternatives, there was one I found that essentially you have to assign your account, your own personal account, to each machine you want unattended access to, which means that any of those unattended access points you are signed into, and those unattended access points, if the user was curious and brought it up, is logged in as you and can see all your other points, which is not secure. That's why it's intended for individual use, not business use. And you can imagine the look on my face when I saw that, and I went, "Oh, that's not good."
Right.
I want to talk about the pricing model on Instant Housecall. I imagine this is not a perpetual license that you buy and you just own it for life, because there's got to be constant maintenance. There's got to be constant improvement, evolution. And I'm kind of curious, what are the tiers, or how is the software sold?
Software is sold on a SaaS basis, a software as a service basis.
So we charge $29 a month for what we call the starter edition. That gets you 50 unattended access points. It gets you 3 concurrent sessions. It gets you unlimited on-demand sessions. So those sessions like we did at the beginning of this call are completely unlimited. You can have as many installations of the software as you like for that price. And then if you want unlimited everything, it just goes up another $10, so $39 a month on a yearly plan. And that's called the Entrepreneur Edition. And then if we wanted to, go for the gusto and get the Everything Edition, which is $69 a month, you get things like sub accounts that allow you to sell your customers the ability to remote into their own computers.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So you could resell it?
You can resell it, yes.
Wow.
So they get their own accounts that they can
remote into themselves, and they can remote into their computers. They can remote into any computer that they would want to, but it's separated, like to your point from earlier, it's separated from your unattended access list. So they would have their own unattended access list. You'd have your own unattended access list.
Is there a limit to how many of those I can sell?
Sub accounts? No.
I might be picking the wrong career. What if I go on this end of the keyboard? I mean, I just saw dollar signs in my eyes. I'm sorry if you lost me for a second. I went somewhere else for a minute. I didn't know you could do that. So that's definitely something I need to look into, because I've been so much looking to solve my own solutions. The remote solution I use for my own personal use is different than the solution I use for remote support use.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going to have to learn more about that. That seems like an interesting way to generate recurring revenue, and
Absolutely.
to have the service not only pay for itself, but put more than you're spending for the service right back into your own pockets. That's fantastic.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're looking for a service that does the equivalent to sub accounts, you're looking at typically $19 a month per endpoint.
In some cases, $10 a month. In some cases, it's $20 a month. But depending on what you're looking for, if you want file transfer and stuff, you're looking around. You can typically sell it for between $10 and $20 a month. So if you get 3 or 4 of those customers, you're paying for your Instant House Call service and turning a profit on it, and able to remotely support your customers and then some.
And save your customers money.
Save your
customers
customers
money.
money.
You've got a competitor that'll charge them 10 times that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And have them believe that they're getting a deal.
Mm-hmm. Are you drinking something other than Coke? Is this not the CareyHolzman I know?
You know what? That's a great question. The Coca-Cola, I drink like one of those little mini cans a day now. It's just not doing it for me. In fact, I might even drink just half the can. I'm so done with it. So I've been switched over to Gatorade temporarily for the last 2 years. And I think the next thing is just going to be water. I don't know. It's just not doing it for me like it used to.
Good for you.
You know what? I'm just following what my body's craving. It's taken time. It's taken 40 some odd years of drinking that stuff every day to finally say, you know what? It's just not. If I'll have a soda with dinner. That's pretty much it. And then I'm just trying. I thought I was being healthier, but there's almost as much sugar. I thought I was saving money, but these actually, I think, cost more. So it's moving in the wrong direction. But yeah, Gatorade's been my thing for a while, and yeah, I think water's going to be next. It's what it should have been for a long time. Yeah, it's surprised a lot of people, but I'm still loyal to Coca-Cola. I just doesn't. I don't crave it like I used to. Getting old.
Awesome.
All right. I just want to see if anybody has any questions we can address here in the chat room. I just glance over here at YouTube and see if we've missed any questions. If you have asked a question and I've missed it, please do ask it again here in the chat, and we'll do our best to provide an answer for you. Let me ask you this, Corey. Some of the, at least one of your competitors in remote space is very difficult to cancel a contract with them.
Right.
If for any reason I wanted to either upgrade, downgrade, or just cancel service with you, is there any particular I don't know. How's that done? I guess is what I'm asking.
It's done by email. So you would just send
Us an email for support@instanthousecall.com, and we would take care of it for you.
So the way it should be.
the way it should be. Absolutely.
Okay. No surprises there. Let's see. I'm looking through the chat room right now to see if I missed anything. I don't know how many of our viewers work as technicians or help family and friends with computer problems.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly Instant House Calls cheap enough to be able to do it as a hobby, to help your friends and family without having to get in the car and drive over there or walk them through some setup, or using some free remote access software, which either limits you or decides you're not using it in a free way. They just make it up and say, yeah, this doesn't appear like you're using this for free, so we're going to block your access. So we're only going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't want to play those games, Instant House Calls, the price for it is just very, very competitive. And of course, there is a free trial. You don't have to take my word. You don't have to take Corey's word. The best way you can decide if you like something is to try it. And there's no strings attached. You don't need any credit card. You can go over to InstantHousecall.com. You can give that a free try. I've got a link there to the Instant House Call website at the video notes below this video on YouTube. And how long is the free trial good for?
It's 15 days, but if for some reason you need it extended, just send me an email, Corey@instanthousecall.com, and I'll take care of it for you.
Ha! Whoever heard of a company that you can email the owner and say, hey, could you, I need one day to decide. Yeah, good luck getting a response from just about anybody else in that space. Is the free trial limited in any way?
No, it's unlimited. You have access to all of the features in the Everything Edition, including sub-accounts.
So you know exactly what you're going to pay for.
You know exactly what you're going to pay for. You know exactly what you're going to get, and it's not crippled in any way at all.
And there's no strings attached. If I want it, everybody's asking me for help. I'm like, fine, I'm going to buy this thing. I get it, pay for a month. Next month, nobody's calling me. I'm like, why am I paying for this thing I'm not using? Cancel it.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. It's just a matter if you want to set everything back up again, I guess.
Right.
Not that you had to set it up to begin with. The idea, though, is it's really designed for business. If you've ever thought about, I'd love to be a computer tech, I do this stuff for fun, I'm afraid I wouldn't make enough money to make ends meet, so I just do it on the side. You could start this way. You could start by offering remote access when you're not working at your regular job. Start drawing that income in on the side. And if things start to grow for you, it's very similar to what happened to me, where I was taking jobs outside of the time I was at work. And I started getting enough jobs that it was like, okay, I got to pick one or the other. And it's still a bit of a risk taking that leap. But I had enough work that at least I wasn't going to be completely penniless. I might have to tighten the belt. But that also motivates you to go out there and find more work. And in those days, we're talking the 90s, you had to get in the car and drive. These days, all that time spent in the car is time that could be billed as I'm helping not only one customer, I could potentially be helping 2 or 3 customers at the same time. Instead of waiting on a virus scan, I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs, waiting for the virus scan to finish, or waiting for a download or an update. I can just switch tabs, go to another customer, start working on their machine. I can actually update, like in the case of a customer that has an office with multiple computers, it is faster for me to remote in from home to multiple computers in that same office and just switch tabs between them as I wait for example, Windows updates to download. I move to the next one, than it is for me to get up out of the chair if I were there and physically walk to the next cubicle or next office.
It's
That's
a great
madness.
It's a great point. And you can do up to 10 concurrent sessions with Instant House Call. So you can have 10 computers running at the same time. And if you're charging 10 different customers that, you're taking
10x of your income in. So most people can't juggle 10. I'm not going to pretend they can. But if you can juggle 3, you're making 3x your income, which is something you can't do in person.
I picked 3 for a reason. I've learned is what I'll do is I'll be like, did I do the Windows updates on this one or was it the other one? And then I have to go back to Windows Update and check it to see. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
So I forget. Or you've got to take like a notepad and start, okay, I have check boxes. Like I did that. But yeah, it's about 3 for my brain. But I just think it's interesting that I can do it faster remotely than if I were even there and just
Right.
physically had to get up and walk from one computer to the other. That takes longer than just clicking the tab. And the download's still going to take the same amount of time. The install is going to take the same amount of time. And I'm not spending the gas. I'm not spending the time in the car. I'm not taking the risk being outside. God forbid I'm outside. There's people out there. Did you know that?
I've heard the rumors, but I don't believe it's true.
I'm not a fan. So
Yeah,
it makes me more efficient. I can make more money. I can help more people. I can help them faster. It doesn't cost me as much to do the job. I'm not paying for the gas and the insurance or the flat tire or the speeding ticket. You know, there's just certain risks we take going to the customer location. Being in Phoenix, it's a big metropolitan area. And if I have to go diagonally from one end of town to the other end of town, that's going to be an hour in the car each direction. Right. And that's assuming I'm not in rush hour traffic or I'm going to be there longer. And if it's 115 degrees outside and I'm just barely moving in traffic, the air conditioner is not going to be working very well. It's miserable. And then I start questioning my life choices and career choices. So this is so much better. It's very affordable. There's a free trial. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to? Because we're just about at an hour here.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot. But if you have any other questions, fire them my way. If anyone who's watching has any questions, you're welcome to email me anytime. I can be reached at Carey@InstantHousecall.com. That's Corey at InstantHousecall.com, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Just like Carey, but with an O. Corey@InstantHousecall.com. And what I was going to say is there's a lot more. There are a bunch of features we haven't covered, right?
There definitely are. But I mean,
I thought for sure there was like a lot more to this, but we could be here another hour going through.
You can see a list of features on the website under features, so you can see all of the details there.
Yeah, and some of those features are going to be more important to some people and less important to others. We'll let you decide that on your own. And I didn't see any questions, but I want to look one more time. And again, InstantHousecall.com is the website. Very affordable. As you can see, you can reach out to the owner of the company anytime, questions or concerns. He's there to answer your questions. Good luck getting that kind of customer service from pretty much any other company, especially in the remote space, which is ironic when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It is.
You're offering support, but you can't get the same support in return from the company, right? But with you actually can. And of course, if there's any suggestions for improvements or features that you want Corey to consider, it doesn't hurt you to, he'll listen, right?
Absolutely.
And I think some of the features that you have now, many of them were brought up as suggestions from users, weren't they?
They certainly were. I mean, that's how we learn. It's by always talking to customers. And I'd encourage anyone who has a business to do the same. Always be talking to your customers, see what they want, see what their needs are. And if you can do that, then you'll have a thriving business.
Well, I've got to tell you, I've been playing with the new version 7 now. When was it released? About 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks?
Not even. I think it's been about, maybe 4 to 6 weeks. It hasn't been that long.
Just some concerns I had with version 6, all completely addressed. The responsiveness of it, the performance of it, it's ease of the install for the unattended access, and specifically, having your customers follow the directions to download the file and execute it. So much. The enhancements are so welcome. I'm so glad that you did it, because while it was a great product before, it's so much more polished. And
thank you very much.
It's just smoother. I don't know what else to say. It just kind of I don't know. I'm going to find something to complain about with it. But for right now, I'm using the heck out of it. You might notice, I don't know if you look at the account statistics, but my account's been pretty active lately with this new version 7 more so. Partly because I'm kind of curious, but also because it's really been a lifesaver for me in this particular space, specifically of customers that call you that don't normally call.
Right,
and they don't
right,
have the remote software installed, and getting them to get that installed and to have it be so painless, to have it be so quick. I can't tell you what a relief that is from this side of the tech bench. And it's really come in handy. Sometimes I'll tell you, it's just been weird. I've heard from customers these last few weeks I haven't heard from in at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden they're all calling at once.
Mm-hmm.
And just to be able to say, well, let me look at my schedule and see when I can. Then I go, wait a minute, you got a minute? We can do this right now. Let's go over it. And then I address it. It's done. And I just tell them they can mail me a check.
Fantastic.
Yeah, everybody's happy. I made a few extra bucks I wasn't expecting. I didn't have to change my schedule. Customer got instant help. And, there's still occasions where I have to go out on site. But it's about 90% I can do remotely now. So I'm getting spoiled, I got to tell you.
Yeah, I remember when I first tried selling Instant House Call, but way back in the day. This was in 2007. I go to people and they say, no, my customers want to see me. They want to see me in person. They don't want to do it remotely. And boy, has that ever changed, especially since the pandemic. People really have embraced remote, and it's really become a thing. So it's fantastic to see. It's fantastic for everybody's business, and it works out great.
Yeah, it has been a struggle. I started off by saying, I've had a couple of customers that are business owners, my father's age, so they have a different expectation of what they define as work. And it really became an issue. They just want me to show up and say hello from time to time. I'm like, that's so stupid. That's just dumb. I've got things to do. Why would I just show up to say hello? Well, just so we know you're there. I'm like, did you have any problems this month? No. Did you have any downtime? No. Have you lost any data? No. That's because I'm doing my job. But the pandemic forced them to understand that, because I think they were thinking I was giving them a line. Right. I saved you. Did you have any problems? No. That's because of me. Sure. Right. This is one of those things where they go, we never see you. Nothing ever breaks. So why are we paying you? Or we never see you. Everything always breaks. Why are we paying you? It's the same either way. But the pandemic has got everybody universally understanding the benefit of remote work. And I think it's saving everybody money. I think it's saving the employees money. I think it's saving the employers money. And boy, I just hope it stays this way regardless, because I just think it's beneficial in many of the jobs that I'm involved in. There doesn't seem to be any real purpose for going to the office. Right. Unless I'm there to pick up a check.
Right. That's the best reason.
But all right. Well, any final thoughts you want to leave us with here?
Yeah, no, if people want to try it out, you can try it out at InstantHousecall.com. That's InstantHousecall.com. And if you have any questions, feel free to either call me at the number on the website or email me at Corey, Corey, at InstantHousecall.com.
Maybe we'll do a session where we invite viewers with computer problems to have me look at their computers, and we'll use Instant House Call to remote in and demonstrate computer repair or a tune-up in the weeks ahead as time permits. That'll be fun.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks again for joining us. It was great to see you again. It's been too long.
It has. It's been a very long time.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for having me on the show. I really do appreciate it, as always.
My pleasure. And congrats on the new version. I absolutely love it. And I'm looking forward to familiarizing myself with some of the little details on it. But right out of the gate, so happy.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much.
All right. Well, we'll talk soon. I'm going to do our outro here. So stand by, Corey. I have to find the right screen. There I am. All right, guys, I want to thank you once again for joining us tonight for this special live interview and demonstration of Instant House Call. The link for the product is below the video notes, below the video in the notes, and check it out. Decide for yourself. If you have any questions, of course, you can email Corey directly, or just leave your questions or your comments in the comments below this video, and we'll do our best to get back to you and address those concerns. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Until then, bye for now.